Something is wrong at Heartland, and Jack Bartlett feels it before anyone else does. His eyes follow the horizon, his voice grows tense. And suddenly that simple warning he gave days ago doesn't sound simple anymore. It sounds like a storm coming. And in Season 19, Episode 6, that storm finally hits. What Jack feared, what everyone else brushed aside, pushes the ranch closer to danger than anyone expected. Season 19. Episode 6 begins with a quiet morning on the ranch. But the silence feels strange, almost too heavy. Like the land itself is holding its breath. Amy moves through the yard with her usual calm focus. But even she pauses as she notices Jack standing near the barn, staring out toward the far pasture. Over the last few episodes, Jack has been uneasy. He sensed trouble coming, something that didn't fit with the everyday problems the Heartland family faces. But Episode 6 makes it clear this was not just Jack being protective. Something real is happening. The tension began back in Episode 5, when Jack warned Amy and the rest of the family about pushing too hard with a troubled horse that arrived at the ranch. The horse wasn't dangerous because of its breed or size. Its fear made it unpredictable. Jack had said it gently at first, telling Amy to slow down, to listen, to step back before things spiraled. But everyone was busy, dealing with their own worries. Lou was caught up in her mayoral pressures. Tim was hiding a growing problem of his own, and Amy believed she could handle the horse if she just stayed patient. Jack's warning was heard, but not truly listened to. Now, as Episode 6 unfolds, that ignored warning hangs in the air like a shadow. There's a new tension between the characters, a quiet blame no one speaks out loud. Even the horses seem restless. When Jack walks through the barn, he runs his hand along an empty stall. Thinking about what he said before, pushing too fast will only break trust, and trust is the only thing that keeps us safe. Those words matter more now than ever. As viewers, we can feel that something is building. The music grows sharper, the scenes linger a little longer on worried faces, and the camera follows Jack closely, showing every wrinkle of concern. He knows the ranch better than anyone. He knows the signs. And in Episode 6, all the signs point in one direction. Something is about to go very wrong. Jack's warning wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It was the kind of quiet truth that only a man who has lived his whole life on the land can feel in his bones. In Episode 6, the meaning behind his words becomes clearer. Suddenly, every moment from the previous episode starts to make sense. Jack wasn't just worried about a single horse or a single mistake. He was worried about the pressure building inside Heartland itself. His concern began with the new Horsewild, shaking, flinching at the smallest sound. Amy believed she could help it like she always does, but Jack saw something deeper. He saw pain that wasn't healed yet, fear that hadn't been understood, and a history that made the horse unpredictable. It wasn't just the animal he was warning Amy about. It was the danger of trying to fix something too fast before it was ready. But the horse wasn't the only piece of the puzzle. Jack also noticed how stretched thin everyone was. Lou was rushing from the ranch to town, juggling pressure that left her distracted. Tim was hiding his stress behind forced confidence, acting like he had everything under control when he clearly didn't. Even Lisa felt the change, sensing the weight Jack was carrying. Heartland wasn't its usual steady self. The pieces weren't fitting together. Something was slipping. Jack tried to say it plainly one evening in the barn. When folks stop listening to each other, things break. And when trust breaks, accidents happen. But in that moment, no one understood what he meant. They heard the words, but they did not feel the warning behind them. Episode 6 reveals that Jack wasn't talking about just one situation. He was talking about the chain reaction that happens when a family starts moving in different directions. And now, in this episode, those small cracks begin to show. A loose gate someone forgot to latch. A rushed decision made without thinking. A misunderstanding that grows into frustration. Alone, each mistake means nothing. But together, they create the exact danger Jack was trying to prevent. What makes his warning so powerful is that it wasn't based on fear, it was based on experience. Jack has lived through loss, through chaos, through moments when one bad decision changed everything. He knows the signs, and he saw them forming long before anyone else did. Episode 6 finally proves that he was right to worry. The calm before the storm is over. The real trouble is about to begin. It happens fast. So fast that no one has time to think, let alone stop it. Episode 6 reaches its turning point when the troubled horse, the one Jack had been watching so closely, finally reacts to everything the family has been ignoring. The scene begins quietly, with Amy entering the round pen just after sunrise. The sky is pale, the air cold, and the ranch strangely still. Amy believes this will be a breakthrough moment. She takes a slow breath, steadying herself, ready to try again. But Jack hesitates. He watches from the fence, his eyes sharp, his shoulders tight. He doesn't say anything at first, but his whole body is tense, almost bracing for something he knows is coming. The horse paces in tight circles, ears pinned back, tail flicking in agitation. Its breathing is fast, uneven. It's not just scared, it's overwhelmed. And Jack sees it before anyone else does. Amy steps in anyway. She's calm, gentle, doing everything she's been taught. Everything she's always done. But the problem isn't Amy's skill, it's timing. The moment she reaches out, something in the horse snaps. Its fear explodes into panic. It rears, lashes out, and sends a wave of dust into the air as it charges toward the fence. The sudden movement is so violent that even Amy, who hardly ever flinches, stumbles back in shock. Jack is already moving before the others even realize what's happening. His boots hit the ground hard as he jumps into the pen, shouting Amy's name with a fear we don't often hear from him. The horse swings around again, hooves hitting the gate with a force that rattles the entire structure. One wrong step, one wrong move, and someone could get seriously hurt. This is the moment Jack dreaded. The moment he tried to prevent, as Amy backs toward the fence. Trying to give the horse space, Jack gets between them, stepping into the line of danger without hesitation. The horse is shaking, confused, terrified, and it takes several tense seconds long. Breathless seconds before it finally stops, frozen in its fear. Only when the dust settles does Amy realize how close she came to being injured. The silence afterward is heavy. Amy's hands shake as she grips the fence. Jack's chest rises and falls with deep, slow breaths as he looks at her, not with anger, but with the weight of a truth she didn't want to hear. This is exactly what he warned her about: the broken trust. The rushed attempts to help, the stress weighing down everyone at the ranch, it all came together in one dangerous moment. And now, in the aftermath, Amy feels something far worse than fear. She feels guilt. The kind Jack tried to save her from, but this is only the beginning of the fallout. The real consequences of ignoring Jack's warning are still ahead. The ranch is usually a place where problems get talked through, it's worked out, and put to rest. But after the incident in the round pen, Heartland feels different. Quieter, heavier, almost unsettled. The tension doesn't explode all at once. Instead, it spreads slowly, sinking into the house, the barns, and even the morning routines. Everyone feels the shift, even if they don't want to admit it. Amy barely speaks when she walks back into the barn after the close call. She moves differently, lower, more careful, as if every step weighs a little more than it used to. She keeps replaying the moment in her mind, the horse's sudden panic. Jack rushing in, the sound of hooves hitting the gate. It loops over and over until she can't tell whether she feels more scared or ashamed. She knows Jack was right, and that realization stings in a way she didn't expect. Jack tries to stay calm for her sake, but the worry is written all over his face. He keeps checking the pen, tightening the latch, re-walking the fence line, like he's searching for something to fix. But deep down, Jack knows the real problem wasn't the pen or the horse, it was the pressure the family placed on themselves without realizing it. And now, his biggest fear has finally come true. Someone he loves almost got hurt because no one listened soon enough. When Lou hears about what happened, she drops everything. Her mayor's paperwork, her endless calls, her plans all pushed aside in a heartbeat. She rushes back to the ranch, flustered and frustrated, feeling guilty for not being around when the family needed her. Lou tries to comfort Amy, but her own stress makes her words stumble. She wants to help, but she doesn't know how. Her voice shakes just enough for Amy to notice. Tim reacts in the only way Tim knows, how by pretending nothing is wrong. He walks around the ranch offering too much advice, talking too loudly, trying to distract from the fear he doesn't want to face. His pride won't let him admit how scared he was when he heard the news. But the way he grips the fence rail with white knuckles tells the truth he won't say out loud. Even Lisa feels the shift. She approaches Jack gently, touching his arm, trying to ease the tightness in his shoulders. She knows Jack better than anyone, and she knows that he doesn't fear danger for himself. He fears it for the ones he loves. She tries to get him to sit down, to breathe, to talk, but Jack keeps replaying the moment just like Amy does. He keeps thinking, if I had stepped in sooner, if I had pushed harder, that kind of guilt doesn't leave easily. The fallout of this moment is messy, emotional, and raw. The Heartland family isn't angry at each other. They're angry at themselves for being distracted, for ignoring the signs, for letting their worries build up until something finally cracked. The accident didn't just shake the ranch. It shook the confidence of the people who keep it running. And now, Episode 6 shows us the truth. Avoiding the problem is no longer an option. The family must face what happened. They must repair trust not just with the horse, but with each other. There are moments in Heartland when everything feels scattered, when emotions run too high, when mistakes hit too hard, and when the family loses sight of the center that holds them together. Episode 6 makes it impossible to ignore who that center truly is, Jack Bartlett. Not because he's loud, not because he forces his way into decisions, but because he listens to the land, to the animals, and to the people he loves in a way no one else does. After the incident, Jack doesn't brag about being right. He doesn't say, "I told you so." He never has. Instead, he carries the weight of the moment quietly, like someone who has seen this kind of danger before. While everyone else around him spirals aim with guilt, Lou with worry. Tim with denial, Jack becomes the steady ground beneath their feet. He does what he has always done. He shows up. Even when he feels shaken, he checks on Amy first, making sure she isn't hurt, even though she insists she's fine. But Jack knows better. He can see the fear behind her steady voice. He can see how she's second-guessing herself, something Amy almost never does. He gently reminds her that even the best trainers face moments like this, and that it doesn't mean she failed. It just means she pushed too hard, too fast. His words aren't meant to blame, they're meant to heal. What makes Jack so important isn't just his experience, but the way he uses it. He doesn't guide with force, he guides with understanding. Whether it's a wild horse or a worried granddaughter, Jack reads emotions the way other people read instructions. He knows that sometimes people don't need answers. They need someone to stand with them when things feel uncertain. Lisa notices this first. She watches Jack move from one family member to another, offering quiet comfort while holding his own fear deep inside. It reminds her of the countless times Jack has done this, before during accidents, arguments, losses, and crossroads. He is the one who steadies the ranch not by fixing everything, but by reminding everyone that they're not facing it alone. Later, Tim tries to talk tough, saying things like, "It could have been worse," or "Next time we'll be ready." But Jack steps in with a calm firmness that cuts through all the noise. He tells Tim that pretending is what got them into this mess. They've all been pretending the stress wasn't growing, pretending nothing was wrong, pretending they could keep going without slowing down. Jack's honesty is blunt, but it's also caring. It's the truth they all need to hear, and when the sun sets that evening, Jack is the last one standing near the barn. The tired horse is finally resting, but Jack's mind is wide awake. He rests one hand on the worn fence rail, the same fence he nearly saw Amy crushed against. His eyes are soft but serious. He knows that the ranch will recover because it always does, but he also knows that this moment must change them. They need to regroup, reconnect, and rebuild the trust that slipped through the cracks. Jack isn't just Heartland's history, he's its anchor, and Episode 6 proves it more clearly than ever before. The first look trailer for Season 19, Episode 6, doesn't reveal much at first glance. It's quick, full of fast cuts and dramatic pauses, almost designed to make you miss what actually matters. But when you watch closely, really closely, you start to notice the tiny details that hint at the emotional storm brewing inside Heartland. These moments aren't loud or obvious. They're hidden in glances, shadows, and unfinished sentences, and every one of them connects back to Jack's warning coming true. The first shot is simple. Amy standing alone in the barn. The light behind her is soft, almost faded, and she's staring at the empty stall where the troubled horse had been. Her shoulders are tense, her face pulled tight, not from fear, but from the weight of everything she's feeling. This single moment says more than any dialogue could. Amy is shaken. She's questioning herself, something she rarely does. And the trailer chooses this exact second to show us she's not as steady as we're used to seeing. Then the trailer cuts to Jack. He's outside near the round pen, his hand resting on the top rail. But his expression is different from his usual calm. His jaw is tight, his eyes sharper than usual, not angry, but deeply worried. It's the look of a man who doesn't want to say I was right, but knows he has to fix what comes next. If you pause the trailer here, you can see the tension in his posture. He's preparing for something, maybe a tough conversation, maybe another danger. The next clue comes through sound, rather than sight. There's a line Jack saying, "This isn't over." It's quick. It cuts off right after. But the tone in his voice is low, steady, and filled with meaning. He doesn't mean the horse. He means the situation, the trust, the family imbalance, the rush that led to a near disaster. That line alone hints that episode. 6 is only part of a bigger conflict rising through the season. Another shot shows Lou walking fast toward the house. Her phone in her hand, but her attention completely elsewhere. Her face is stressed, focused, almost panicked. It's clear she's leaving something unfinished. Maybe a meeting, maybe an event just to get back to the ranch. The trailer uses her movement to show how the family is being pulled back together by fear, the same way they've been separated by stress. Then there's Tim. His clip lasts only a second, but it's powerful. He's standing in the arena, staring at the busted gate with a look that isn't frustration, it's guilt. Real guilt. For a man who hides everything behind attitude, that expression is rare. It tells us that the incident shook him too, even if he won't say it out loud. The final shot is the most mysterious. A close-up of the troubled horse, wide-eyed, but calmer than before. The lighting is dim, almost twilight, and the horse shifts slightly as if sensing someone nearby. The trailer cuts right before we see who approaches. It's intentional. It leaves the audience wondering, is it Amy trying again? Is it Jack stepping in? Or is it someone unexpected? The trailer doesn't answer the question. It only leaves us knowing one thing. Episode 6 is far from finished with this story. And what comes next will test the family even more. After everything that unfolds in Episode 6, there's a feeling that Heartland has stepped into a new chapter, one heavier, deeper, and more uncertain than before. The ranch is quiet, but the silence doesn't feel peaceful. It feels like the moment right before a storm breaks again. Every character is left standing at a crossroads, unsure of what will come next. And the episode ends without giving any easy answers. Instead, it leaves viewers with questions that echo long after the screen fades to black. Amy is the most affected. She knows she has to face the troubled horse again, but now she carries something she didn't have before. Not the kind that stops her, but the kind that makes her hesitate. And hesitation is dangerous when working with animals who read every emotion like a book. Will she regain her confidence? Will she take Jack's advice and slow down? Or will her guilt push her too far the other way? The preview hints at more difficult scenes ahead. It's moments that might shake her in ways she hasn't experienced since losing Ty. Jack, on the other hand, stands in a different space. He's the backbone of the ranch, the steady force, the one who steps in when no one else can. But even Jack has limits. Episode 6 shows a rare crack in his armor, a moment where fear and frustration catch up to him. He saved Amy. But the question stuck in his mind is whether he can keep protecting everyone if they don't start listening. What will he do next? Will he become stricter, or will he step back and let the family learn their own lessons? Jack's next choice could shape the entire rest of the season. Lou's journey is tied to balance. She wants to be a good leader for the town and a good sister for her family. But episode 6 forces her to see that she can't split herself in too many directions. She's going to have to decide what matters most. And the preview hints at a moment where she might need to choose between her responsibilities and the ranch that raised her. Tim's reaction is perhaps the most unpredictable. The guilt he carries doesn't sit quietly. It grows into frustration, and frustration with Tim often leads to conflict. Will he lash out? Will he deny the truth again? Or will this moment finally push him to be honest with himself and with the family?